So hi, hello and welcome again, Microbehunter here and welcome to another microscopy tutorial. Today I'm going to do a little beginner's preparation. So if you've never made a microscope slide before, this is a preparation that I actually recommend. It is the traditional onion under the microscope. It's an interesting specimen because you're able to see the cells quite easily, and it's also quite easy to prepare. And for this is one of the reasons why I like to do onion cell preparations, especially with beginners. But before we get started, I would like to run you through the materials that we need. Of course, you need the specimen itself. Here is an onion. You see, it's already started to grow out here. We need a little bit of tap water, of course, a microscope slide and some cover glasses, and then a knife. And that's pretty much all we need. And we're going to dive right into it. So you already know that a specimen has to be sufficiently small, sufficiently thin, and also sufficiently transparent to be suitable for microscopy. And what I'm therefore doing is I'm going to cut a little square into the onion. And the onion is not quite fresh anymore. It's a little bit old already. That's fine. All I need is something like this. Look, it's quite easily possible to lift out the different layers of the onion. And what you want to do is you want to pick one of those layers here, and you would like to search the inside layer for the onion skin. And you can do that by simply trying it with your fingernail. And usually, not the outside layer here, but there is also somewhere an inside layer. Maybe not on here. Or is it? Not a very good one, so I have to try a different one here. Okay, so let's separate the different layers here. Okay, and here it is. Look, you can already see that it's starting to separate, and this is the onion skin that we would like to observe under the microscope. It's pretty thin, and the cells here are also fairly large. And what I recommend that you do is you simply, of course, remove the onion pieces first, and you simply put it directly on a microscope slide, because it can quite easily happen that it starts to roll up and starts to stick together. We don't want that. So this is basically step number one, and we're almost already finished. I'm going to drop a cover glass on top of it right away. You see that the cover glass is a little bit dirty, so I'm going to dry wipe it. So let's use a microfiber cloth again to wipe it. And then I'm going to put it directly on the onion skin. And of course, you now know what the problem is. The problem is there is no water between the cover glass and the microscope slide. And I'm going to add now a little bit of water. So let's use a pipette to transfer some of the liquid beneath the cover glass, and you can see how capillary action draws the water in, and now there is water both on top and on the bottom. Now, is it possible to put first the water on the slide and then add the onion piece, the onion skin? Of course, you can try to do that. I found this to be a little bit difficult sometimes because it might start to roll up, this actually I found to be a very good technique as well. And you see there is no water running out. The cover glass is attached to the slide and to the onion skin in a quite stable way. And I think we can put it now directly under the microscope. So this is how it looks like under the microscope. Yeah, those round structures are of course air bubbles, but let's try to find the onion skin. And here we are. Okay, we can already start to see the individual cells, and we can already also see that there are still a few air bubbles in there. That's okay, we just ignore those. Let's go up with the magnification. So this is how it looks like. Okay, what you can see here is these are the individual cells. Yeah, so you see that they're quite long, and they almost look a little bit like bricks in a wall. Those round things over here, these are air bubbles that are either on top or on the bottom of the onion. It really doesn't matter a lot. We just ignore those. And what we have here on the side here, those lines here that essentially are the cell walls of the cell. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually increase the magnification yet further. Now, if you look very carefully, then you're able to see that some of the cells, well, actually all of the cells that you see here have those round structures in them. There's one over here, and there's one over here as well. Yeah, there's also one over here. Sometimes they're a little bit oval. Over here as well, a little bit difficult to see here. These are of course the nuclei. Each cell has a nucleus, and this is the cell organelle that contains the genetic material, right? And you can also see that some cells, or many of them, actually have some little dots in them. These are vesicles that are moving around, because after all, of course, those onion cells are alive still, and there is still some movement going on, which might be a little bit difficult to observe here because it's not quite as fast. Okay, but if you make a time-lapse video, then you would also be able to see the movement of those structures, those vesicles inside the cell. But you know what? I'm going to now go up with the magnification yet further, and I'm also going to change then my contrasting technique. So I'm now using my 40 times objective, and you can see that everything is a little bit bluish in color, and that is because I'm using a technique called DIC. This technique increases the contrast, and now we're also able to see a little bit more of what's going on inside those onion cells here. You see those tiny little dots, they're moving around. These are, of course, the vesicles that are moving around because of the movement of the cytoplasm inside the cell. Especially up here, you're able to see it also quite well. Yeah, and because I think pretty much most of you will not have this contrasting technique, let's switch back to regular bright field. And this is how you should be able to see those onion cells. Onion cells are a very suitable specimen because they're very easy to prepare, and you can even see the individual cells if you use a magnifying glass. You have to have still very good eyes, but it is possible to see them even without a microscope. But for me, that's all I would like to share with you today. I hope that these instructional videos are not only enjoyable to watch, but also help you a little bit in your microscopic observations. I wish you all the best. Happy microbe hunting as always. See you around next time. Bye-bye.